Well, joining me is Tony Haslam, down the line, a former captain in the 1318th Royal Hussars and, cavalry regiment of the British Army. And your son, I understand, Tony, was very good friends with Harry at Ludgrove before he went up to Eton. And can I ask, Tony, firstly, your family having interacted with the Prince for many, many years, can I ask you how you're feeling about this string of revelations?
Hello, Nigel. Well, I think, in a nutshell, I think it's horrendous. I think Harry and Meghan have gone about it in a very cowardly way. And what I mean by cowardly is that William and the King and everybody else, they cannot defend themselves. So, and he knows that, and yet he's thrown all these accusations. And they're completely defenseless. So I think it is very cowardly. And for an ex-soldier, I think to behave like that is pretty horrendous. The second thing is it's disloyal. He's been incredibly disloyal to his father. He's been incredibly disloyal to the monarchy as a whole. And the worst part, and the thing that makes me more angry than anything else, is he did that Oprah Winfrey interview, or they did, just before the Duke of Edinburgh died. Now, what the Duke of Edinburgh must have been put through, listening to, particularly when the racist thing came up, it beggars belief. And then following that, it goes from bad to worse by, for the last 2 years of the Queen's life, who has given such dedication and loyalty to this country, has seen his dirty linen be washed in public. And we know from something we heard last week that it had effect on her health, and that is totally unacceptable. And the third thing I think is that they are totally hypocritical, those two, because there they are, they're talking about mental health. I understand that they support Mind, the British mental health charity, and yet what they've been doing is mentally bullying William and Kate in particular, and that is unacceptable. So all in all, I think, Nigel, you gather from me, I think the whole thing is horrendous.
Former Army Captain Tony Haslam isn't holding back. In a blistering attack, he calls Prince Harry and Meghan Markle cowards, and says their actions betray the values Harry once fought for. Today we break down what triggered this explosive statement, and why the military community is now openly turning on the Sussexes. Tony Haslam's critique was direct, brutal, and unapologetic. He says Harry and Meghan run from responsibility, hide behind media narratives, and refuse to stand by the consequences of their own decisions. The key word Haslam used, cowards, is damning in the military world. It's not thrown lightly. It's reserved for behavior seen as evasive, self-protective, or dishonorable. Harry was once respected as a soldier who served on the front lines. But critics like Haslam argue that his recent behavior contradicts the classic military code: loyalty, resilience, and accountability.
Well, I think you put it pretty well in those three very strong points, Tony. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening. I'm joined now by Chip Chapman, Major General Chip Chapman. Chip, firstly, with your sort of army, military, Falklands veteran hat on, I know that when I talk to you chaps that have been in active combat and you've lost men that served under you and you've had to kill the enemy, and I ask people about it and they joke about the kit being no good or what the weather was like or how the breakfast was. To boast of killing 25 Taliban, I mean, it's really unthinkable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not good, but more generally, the key point is that given who he is, his book should have been vetted for two reasons. The first one is operational security reasons, OPSEC, but the second one, which is the one we're seeing manifested now, is PERSEC, personal security, and we've seen that both in the Taliban making statements and other groups. So he's put three groups of people at risk.
I mean, you were head of counter-terrorism at the MOD. You're all too, well aware of these risks. I mean, has he risked? Is it more than just the family? Is it the British Army serving overseas? How broadly, how big is this risk?
I think there are three circles at the moment. So the first one is him and his immediate family. But we have to be careful because all the information and data at the moment would say that complex plots, Al-Qaeda and IS, are just not there anymore. And that was brought out again with a Council for Foreign Relations. But it is the lone actor who might be energised with a grievance and an ideology, and if they've read this sort of stuff and it's amplified, and you can see the amplification in a way. So today there was a protest of 20 people in Helmand province, picked up by all the international press. And with the global ummah of the Muslim community, amongst that there will be some who will seek to take potentially revenge against someone who has killed their fellow brothers. You know, he is deemed to be an infidel with them. So there's three circles. One, him and his immediate family. Yeah. Second, the royal family, and of course we've got the coronation coming up. Yeah. And the third one would be events that high-profile events that he attends, such as the Invictus Games in Dusseldorf in September.
Haslam and others believe Harry abandoned those values, choosing instead to publicly attack the institution that shaped him, while expecting immunity from scrutiny. Haslam's comments weren't aimed only at Harry. He accused Meghan of encouraging the couple's habit of playing the victim, while simultaneously building a powerful global brand. Critics say Meghan is strategic, polished, and media-savvy. But according to Haslam, real courage means facing criticism, not avoiding accountability or rewriting history. Insiders say the spark was Harry's latest push for online safety and media reform, while Meghan continues using carefully staged family moments in public-facing projects. To Haslam, this looks hypocritical. You cannot preach protection while feeding the machine.
The army was a second family to him. Perhaps in some ways, for some years, it was a first family to him. I get the impression that you guys now have no regard for him at all. Would that be fair?
Well, I think you have to say that between 2005 and 15, he served honourably. He set up the Invictus Games in 2014. That is honourable. He's dissipated that honour, really, with some of the ways that he's gone about the book and the content within it. So he has dissipated the kudos which had accrued to him previously. So don't write him off, and there may be complex reasons to do with some sort of PTSD amongst him, but he's got a lot of recovery to come about. And really, he sort of looks like a sort of pan-shop Hamlet with a revenge play allied to Jilly Cooper at the moment, and that's always a bad gig.
If you were still at the MOD, in charge of counter-terrorism, and you were thinking about the first week of May this year, the coronation, one of the biggest global events to happen in this country, because the eyes of the world will be on it since the war, would you think it a good thing if Harry was there as a guest?
Well, I do, because we always quote military philosophers from the past, and you will know this one. So Marcus Aurelius, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. And so don't dignify Harry by seeming to be trite, and I would invite him for that reason and that reason alone.
From a security perspective?
Well, from a security perspective, you're going to have a VVIP challenge, as you did for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So that will just be another layer of complexity, which is already there, with lots of heads of state from around the world going to be present at that seminal event, really. It doesn't.
Many veterans feel Harry's actions reflect poorly on those who serve. They argue he once stood for bravery. Now they see distance, blame, and defensiveness. The Sussex brand, they say, has become more about self-preservation than service. If more military voices join Haslam, Harry could face the harshest backlash yet, not from the public, but from the brotherhood he once belonged to. Soldiers marching, Harry in uniform, Sussex speeches. Once your former comrades call you a coward, the road to redemption becomes nearly impossible. Tony Haslam's words are strong, maybe too strong. But the question is unavoidable. Did Harry and Meghan really abandon courage, or are they simply redefining it? Speech balloon, comment below. Do you think Haslam is right, or did he go too far? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more royal breakdowns.